My memory is not great. There are a surprising number of things that I feel are just missing from my childhood, from what I ate for lunch yesterday. One example that stood out to me as I was starting to prepare this project is the number of times that I crashed my bike when I was a child. So I can remember, or I know that there were two times that I took diggers off the front end of my bike. The first one was on a road connected to the road I grew up on, Woodland. It was a dirt road, and I know that I fell off my bike and had a pretty significant crash at one point. I know that that's where I got the scar that's on my lip right here that I'm sure you can't see through Zoom. And I know that that's where I got a scar even on the inside of my lip as my teeth dug into the tissue there. I know that factually that that's where those scars came from, but I have zero memory of that event. Now, the one I remember was on the road I grew up on, Wildwood Road, which is paved. And I'm sure you can tell from Woodland, Wildwood, I grew up in what I would say was a pretty rural area, but having heard stories about where y'all live, it sounds like I grew up in a city. But on Wildwood Road, there's kind of a badoop as you're coming up towards my childhood home. There's a downhill that goes right up into an uphill with a brook running through the middle that created the erosion and that dip in the road. It's not a super significant hill on either side. The higher side goes probably up about 50 feet, but as a 7-year-old, it was massive trying to get up and down these little hills. So the best way, the most efficient way to get up the other side was obviously to go down one side as fast as you possibly could. So on this day, I was on the side that was a little higher. We were coming home from walking the dog. My dad had the dog on the leash. I was on my bike. And I decided not just to coast down that bigger hill, but to pedal down it so that I'd be flying when I hit the other side. Once I got to that uphill, I was definitely flying, but a little too close to the sun. And I can remember very vividly this snapshot moment of a few seconds of the wheel starting to wobble and the handlebars jerking in my hands. I can remember that moment where things just went out of control. And then there's a little gap because memory is weird. And I have a very vivid picture of sitting on the ground crying and seeing my dad running down the hill with my dog, my little brown mutt of a dog, Dietrich, galloping along next to him, full bliss, getting to finally open up and run. And that's it. That's all I remember. I don't remember if there were any significant injuries. I think the tiny scar on my wrist might be from that. But I have this knowledge of one event and this memory of the other one. And that memory, especially my dad running down the hill to save me, was what bubbled up kind of randomly as I was thinking back on my experience with this most recent high performance leadership project. So at level 5 in pathways, several of the paths require you to set up a leadership project that's moving you towards high performance. So for this time that I've gone through, I've been through it a couple of times. This time I decided to apply it to organizing my home district, District 53, our round one club officer training. I'm serving this year as education and training chair. So our program quality director tasked me with taking on the majority, as I was comfortable, of the training. So I pulled a team together. I got a guidance committee. And in the beginning, I was doing like you see classically in sitcoms and movies where I was helping the kids learn how to ride the bike. We had our team. I brought them all together. We did 2 hours of train the trainer training. And then I sent out numerous emails outlining how things were going to go. We made sure to create agendas, have clear sign up sheets so different facilitators could take different parts of the meeting. I then set up a time to meet with the division directors who were all tasked with leading one of these sessions. And the whole time, I felt like that parent holding on to the handlebars and the seat and guiding them along, helping them build momentum, move towards stability so that they could go off on their own. But then came the hard part, which was letting go, letting them go off on their own. And this is the part that, as a high performer, I have always struggled with bridging the gap into high performance leadership, which is letting go of the control. And there were definitely a few times throughout the course of it that I could see that wheel wobbling. Luckily, in this scenario, no one actually crashed, which was good. But there were some times that they were pedaling a little too fast down the hill or just getting distracted and not keeping their eyes on the road, looking off at a squirrel in the distance. So there was definitely a very conscious practice of releasing the control and understanding that it was going to be what it was going to be, that they were practicing leadership as well. And my job as the leader of the project and the events was to let them stumble, to let them maybe crash. And that's really the big jump that someone moving from being that high performer needs to be able to take if they want to step into the role of a true leadership. It's letting them crash if they need to. It's letting things get shaky. It's understanding that they can practice the tools to get where they need to go. Leadership is not steering for them. Leadership is not balancing for them. It's releasing them out to create whatever they're destined to create. And then when something does happen, to come running and be there to support them if they need it so that they can grow into the leaders that will someday take the reins and teach the next generation how to continue forward.